Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Told and Untold Stories. I am so excited as always, and I'm just thrilled at how far we've come, guys. This is episode 7. 7, guys. We are moving, and as we're moving, it means we're gradually coming to an end of the series. But you can keep your stories coming in because we still have a few episodes till the end of the series. I hope you've been learning so much from the stories we've been sharing and the lessons we've been picking out. Do well to please share your story with us. Like you must have heard, no story is without a lesson. Just give it to us. Even if you can't point out the lessons in it, send it to us and we'll find a way to figure out all the lessons within that very experience. Okay? Now, without further ado, let's move straight to today's stories. When I was in JS3, I had a friend who I was very close with. One fateful day, she called me and asked that I come and tell her uncle, who came to pick her up from school, that the money he found in her possession is actually my money, and I forgot it with her. I asked why, and further went on to ask what the issue was. Why do I have to lie it's mine? Isn't it your money? Weren't you giving the money from home? All of this I asked with curiosity. It's my money, she said. My cousin gave it to me, but I made a mistake of not showing my uncle. Reason I had to lie, it's yours. I then said okay and followed her to her uncle's place. On getting there, he asked if I gave my friend money and I said yes. He went further to ask me questions which I tried to answer, but it was glaring I was only lying and trying to cover up, being that I was young and wasn't even used to lying. At a point, it became too obvious I was lying, so I was forced to tell him the truth because he was already threatening to follow me to my house and see my parents, which I know very well that will be hell. After telling him the truth, he advised me against lies and said I can go. On getting to school the next day, I found out that my friend actually stole the money from a classmate of ours, and that wasn't even her first time, as things that had gotten missing in the past were found in her possession. As at then, I only could say thank God I didn't get myself into trouble. But having grown some more, I can say that we need to be careful on the actions we take, all in a quest to cover up for a friend or save a friend's back. Aside getting ourselves into trouble, we might just be doing more harm than good to that friend. As much as we need to be there for our friends, we also need to allow them take responsibility for their actions and face the consequences of it so they learn and it helps them be better. Wow. The first thing I want to say is that she's lucky it ended the way it did. Like, it didn't taint her own reputation. She wasn't dragged into it knowing that they were very close friends. And, to an extent, I will even say she's lucky she didn't get to learn of this very terrible attitude and start indulging in it. As much as we always want to be there for our friends, our friends are our G's. Sometimes the relationship friends have is usually, I'm tempted to use the word, stronger than the relationships some family members have, and that's the truth. We can try to say it some other type of way, but that's literally the truth. Some things that you're willing to do for your friends, it's insane, it's crazy, just in the name of sustaining relationship. Yes, it is good to be there. It's good to have their back when they're in tough situations, when they're in difficult situations, even when they've messed up, when they've done certain mistakes and have messed up big time. It's still good to be there for them, to help hold them up, just take them away from that very phase or that very environment they are in. It's always good for us to be there for our friends, but like she said, it's something that we have to be very, very careful about. Now, this is just one of so many experiences that we must have had growing up. At one point or the other in our lives, I can almost say for sure that we've had to cover up for our friends, or we've been in need of cover up, right? We've done certain things. It's as simple as you wanting to go out and they say no, don't go, and you say okay, you'll be in your friend's house, but you're not in that friend's house, but you tell the friend, if they call, just say that yes, I'm in your house. It's just, we see it as very little. We see those things as very, very little things, and we don't even look at the dangers involved. What if something happens to you? wherever you are and they ask your friend, where were you? What will your friends start saying? Like, we don't even really look at the dangers of all of these things. It not only keeps you stuck in that terrible behavior, that terrible character, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be lying. It not only keeps you in that character, but you've successfully dragged your friend into being a part of your mess, into also lying, and then you've not even brought solution to yourself because you've not been able to help yourself get out of that mess. Honestly speaking, cover-ups, we might think, is my G now, I can't let him down, like, this is my person, it's a mistake they made. We legit understand it's a mistake. In fact, don't allow anybody ever make you feel like you're the only one that has made mistake. Everybody has made mistake. Forget it. We have all made mistakes. It's just in different degrees and levels, and some were public, some were private, but we've all made these mistakes. And the honest truth is, you covering it up doesn't change the fact that it's a mistake. It has been made. But what if you decide to own up to it? It means that you can correct what you've done and do better next time. It's something that it's not easy for us to just change overnight, because most of us grew up doing that. Like, for as far back as I can remember, I always have a friend to look out for, you understand? And you just think it is love. That's just what you do for the people you love. You cover up for them. But there's a side of love that I think there's a place that says spare the rod and spoil the child. It's not out of hatred that you will flog the child. It's out of love, because you want to ensure that the child does not do that thing again. So there are a lot of things that covering them up, they don't even help in any way. It just self-indulge the person. You just leave the person in that mess they are in, and they keep doing it because they know, of course, my G is here to cover me up. Even if he doesn't cover me up, I'll just learn better ways to do it. You have not helped them really, and you yourself, you've managed to drag yourself into the whole mess. It's good to own up to things, apologize, and grow from it. As a friend, it's very important we start to look at our friends straight in the face and tell them what they are doing is wrong. Okay, sometimes we don't know what they are doing. Like in her case, she had no idea the friend was stealing. But there are certain things that when you see and you put two and two together, you know that this thing did not sit well. You understand? This thing is not sitting well. So by the time you put those two and two together and you realize that these things are not sitting well, please, by all means, stand up to your friend and tell your friend what he's doing is bad. Standing up to themselves is going to make them think twice about what they are doing. And if you're corrected, you don't have to take it like the person feels he's better than you, that's why he's correcting you. No, it doesn't always have to be like that. If you're corrected, take correction and move. Don't be comparing yourself with another person. See who they correct who. You self, have you finished checking your own self that you're correcting me? Okay, what you did, is it right? No. Okay, what I said correcting you, did I lie? No. So why wouldn't you just take the correction and move? Why do you have to defend yourself by saying that I'm also having my own flaws? We all have our own flaws that we're dealing with, but when you identify yours, please deal with it. Like, please adjust and correct it. Okay, I think doing the right thing is usually very easy. There's less stress in it, there's less shame in it. No matter how it is, there's less shame in it, there's less stress in it, and you can confidently ask for God's help. Imagine when you're doing something wrong, you'll be so shameless to ask for God's help. You're doing the right thing, you can confidently ask God for help, because you know that, okay, what you are doing is right. So I just hope that we will just adjust our way of life. It's not easy, it won't happen overnight, of course, but it's one day at a time. It's one person at a time. It's one attitude at a time. One admission, one apology at a time. It's just gradually, and the more you do it, the more you see your system, the more you feel yourself getting used to it, liking the feel of it, and just adjusting everything generally. So thank you so much for sharing this story with us, and I'm grateful you didn't get into trouble, but we have learned to let our friends take responsibilities for their actions. It's not even just friends. We've learned to let people take responsibilities for their actions. Maybe if they face the consequences, they will adjust. Maybe that's what they need to adjust. Maybe we telling them adjust, they will not hear. Let them face it small. Maybe they will adjust. Then we'll continue praying for ourselves, right? And hopefully God will help us all. Thank you for sharing. Next story, guys. In the year 2010, something tragic happened. I lost my mom, and being the first child, I had 2 younger ones. Life wasn't easy, but God was faithful. One fateful morning we woke up. We had other foodstuff, but there was no beans and palm oil, so there was no way we were going to cook for that day. We kept praying and trusting God for something to happen. In the course of the day before evening, a woman came in, and guess what she brought? Palm oil and beans. The exact thing we were trusting God for. I was speechless that day. It means God knows what we want, and He will supply it at the right time. So for me, this is just another proof that God is always with us. Like, God is always with us, and He knows what we need, and He's able to meet our needs. It's hard for us to always believe that, especially when you find yourself in the most tragic situation, like the most terrible and just unexplainable situations, and you pray and cry and trust God to come through, and nothing happens up until the situation ends the way it ends, and you just be like, is there God really? Like, does He even hear us? Or maybe I'm not even in right standing with Him. But I've come to understand that this God is a good God. His goodness supersedes everything else. He's just good in nature. I don't think God enjoys us going through hard times. I just think certain times life puts us in some situations and in some positions and conditions, but God is always able to just bring us out of whatever type of situations we find ourselves. I'm just really in shock. Is it shock? I will say I'm a huge fan of testimonies. I'm a huge fan of hearing how things work out miraculously. My goodness. I just love the way things happen spontaneously. Like, it just happens in the blink of an eye, and you know that this thing is God. I'm just a fan of those type of things. I really love to hear them. It strengthens my faith in God, and it just makes me want to remain there. Like, God, I will just leave it at this. God knows what we want, and He will supply it at the right time. God knows where you are. He knows what you need right now. It's good you talk to Him, tell Him. It doesn't mean He doesn't know, but He wants to know that you do know He's there, and you trust Him enough to help you in that area. So talk to Him and just let it be. Trust Him. He can use the most unimaginable situations. He can use the most unimaginable things to make things work out for you and I. I'm so happy that God has been faithful to you, and I trust that He will continually remain faithful to you and your entire family every single day of your life. And to every other person watching this, I know God has come through for you in one way or the other, and I trust that He's still faithful to keep coming through for you and I every single day of our lives. Thank you for sharing this story. Thank you so much. Next story, guys. I finally realized that there's no teacher like life, and it will keep bringing up different series of the same test till you learn from it. Learn the formula and escape when it comes again. I'm someone that is very good at keeping people around me and take up people's issues like it's mine, especially if I like you. You don't even have to be my friend. I'll just try to please you and not want to see you go through hard times. I've had series of friendships that were so beautiful that I thought we'll grow into mothers together and grow. I always dream and see my future with my friends and the kind of life I want us to end up with, but the story never ends that way. I'm very sensitive and notice the slightest change in people, and once I do, I'm not able to pretend about it. And that thing I've noticed, even if you don't decide to do it to me again, it still sticks to my memory, and it will change everything about how I see you and how I behave towards you. I don't really like this about myself because I end up judging people wrongly. True, they might have had bad agendas, but they can also change their mind to do the right thing. But what I've noticed will make me doubt the person completely. I think that's why I don't have a lot of people in my circle, because I end up keeping people away. So I end up parting ways with a lot of people I never thought I will. And I always say I've learned from it and it will never happen again. But it ends up happening again and again. And I do the same things I did and forget I said I'll never allow anyone play me again. The recent one happened again and I almost cried, but I refused to. Enough is enough, I said. Why not focus on me and the gift God has given me, which is the Holy Spirit? Why try so hard to have people around me that they end up expecting more from me and stretching me till it ends up hurting me? Why not focus on bettering myself and following the direction of the Holy Spirit? I've noticed it's the same mistake I make in all the friendships that I've had that have been broken. It's the same thing that makes me part with all the relationships I've lost. I open myself and care way too much and bear people's burdens as if it's mine, and it makes them feel entitled. So now I've learned that it's good to like people and care for them, but I won't place anyone's interest above mine, because that's why I end up getting misinterpreted, even when I've done my best, but it doesn't meet up to what they expect from me because of certain restrictions. People tag me as a bad person, forgetting all the good that I've done. You don't also have to always have people around you. This time I've spent alone, depending on the guidance of the Holy Spirit, has led me to do things I never thought I could. I've learned that it's not good to place people's interest above yours. It's not necessary to force friendships. Focus on doing your thing and God will send the right people your way. Saying this feels like a huge burden has left me. I hope you can share this. Obviously, we're sharing it already, and I know this is not a specific story or encounter that she shared, but this was more of like an experience or a feeling she has had for quite some time. And wow, at the end of the day, one thing I always try to work with is don't allow other people change who you are. There are certain things that you do and there are certain characters that you have that are good. They are good, and even though a lot of people might ride on it, like just want to take you for granted because of it and just want to misuse that opportunity or just use you. Let's say the word. Even though some people may want to use you, I honestly hope that when you identify these people and you're able to cut off from them, you don't let that change. You don't let that take away that goodness from you, because there are people that you will meet in future that will need that good nature of you. Like, don't just let go of your good nature, your good character, because of the way other people have treated you. You will deny the people in your future that person that you are that is so good. Like, there are people that deserve this good you. There are people that you will enjoy your life with. You don't want to deny them that opportunity because of one or two experiences you've had with other people. That's just my honest opinion. If Mr. A tries to mess up with you and tries to misbehave and do what they want to do, look at Mr. A face to face, handle Mr. A, and let that end with Mr. A. Don't let it change who you are. Do you get? Let it be that Mr. A, see, you will not see this side of me again. Me and you, we have cut it, we have moved. I forgive you, but we have moved. Simple, we have ended this thing, me and you. But I won't deny Mr. B this good nature of mine. Do you understand? I won't deny Mr. B this goodness. I won't. Don't allow other people suffer for another person's misbehavior. Honestly, my opinion is you deal with those people, you face them, fix that problem, and okay, you might decide to be a lot careful the way you carry other people's matter on your head, because at the end of the day, people will always be people. Just like they always say, you can't please people all the time. If you do A, they will ask you, why did you do A before doing B? Why didn't you do A and B together for me? So honestly, you might not be able to please everybody at the same time, but you can try to do your own part so long as you're doing it from a good place, and just live. Try and be happy. It's just really painful when you see people taking advantage of certain people, honestly speaking. And it happens all the time, in friendships, in families, in romantic relationships. You just see it all the time. The fact that a guy likes you, you suddenly start to take everything from the guy. You know you don't like him back. Why are you collecting all these things? I don't understand though. If you realize, or if you have certain people around you that you've noticed are good natured in a way, like they are nicer, they are quiet, don't take advantage of them. We are quick to identify certain attitude with people, and then we relate with them based on that. There are people that they don't take rubbish, so even you, the way you behave with them, you are careful because they will not take rubbish from you. And then there are people that they are just calm and they just don't like to stress over things, and then you will make it your own mission to do anything you want to do because you know that they don't like stress, so they will not answer you. It's good we identify the nature of people so that we know how to relate with them, but it's also good that you try on your own part, like we try on our own part, to not take advantage of the goodness of people, to not take advantage of people, and to not generalize things. Someone does something to you, fix it with the person and move on. Keep doing your part, and God is honestly going to bless you. If he brings it to your attention that you need to stay away from certain people, by all means stay away from them. And like she said, sometimes staying away from people is very good. It's very, very good for us. So sometimes we all need this moment of solitude. You don't always have to be around people. You don't always have to make everybody your friend. Hey. I don't even know what to say again. Please, we don't always have to make everyone be our friends. Some people are who they are. They are acquaintances. From a distance, we say hi and pass. And as much as you support your friends, as much as you support other people, don't carry their matter on top of your head. Okay, there are friendships, there are relationships that you can't even say no to carrying their matter on your head. But the things I've noticed with those relationships is that they also carry your matter on their head. When you have a relationship that you're the only one carrying everybody's matter on your head, you begin to wonder, are you the only one with a head? Why are you the only one carrying people's matter on your head? Are you their God? Did you create them? Did you born them and bring them to this world? Why are you carrying their matters on your head? There are people that give you the same vibe. I hustle for you, you hustle for me. I'm not saying do things only because people will pay you back, no. But there are people that they don't really give two thoughts about you. And once they are in need, they suddenly realize they have you. They suddenly remember, you are there. Seriously, let's just learn to identify people, learn to categorize people, and learn to respect people. I think respect is very important. Respect is not just for the people that are older than you. Respect is important even to your friends. What you will not want your friend to do to you, don't do it to the person. What you've noticed your friend can do to you and is not able to, it's not your right. Don't carry it on your head. The person cannot do it now, or the person chose not to do it now. It's not your right. You cannot vex on top of another person because the person said he will not help you. Do you get? Let's just the stress in all of these things. God is going to help us, guys. I'll encourage you, please, once in a while, spend time alone. You don't always have to be in the midst of people. You don't always have to be in the midst of friends. Spend time alone. Some people don't even know the last time they sat down alone. The moment they're alone, they're on social media. The moment they're not on social media, they're watching movie. The moment they're not watching movie, they're with friends. The moment they're not with friends, they're sleeping. You don't even have any time for yourself that you meditate. You just sit down and not worry about anything, but you just sit down and enjoy quietness. Some people don't know what that is, but I can say for a fact that we all need moments of solitude. In those moments of silence, that's when God speaks to us. Because in the midst of all the noise, even if God is shouting, you people will not hear. I say you people, we people will not hear in the midst of all the shouting, But in that moment of silence, you just can't help but just notice how far you've come. Just notice how good God has been. And if he speaks even in the most lowest of whispers, you'll be able to hear him, because there is silence, there's that solitude for him. And then when you hear him, everybody needs to be able to hear God, because when you hear him, then you know what direction to take in life, you know what next to do, you know what's the next thing, like, that you have been thinking and having sleepless nights about. Maybe you just need one day of silence alone inside your house, just one day. Maybe that's what you need, for God to just whisper that thing, and then to just solve your problem completely. So I just hope that we indulge ourselves in that, and I believe God will help us. As for this very storyteller, I will pray for you, and I will encourage you to, once again, don't allow people change who you are. Don't allow people take away your goodness. Treat people the way, I don't want to say the way they deserve, but treat people out of the good nature of your heart. Okay, and I really, really hope and pray that God leads you to friends and to people that will actually give you what you've been looking for. You know, that friendship, that true friendship and togetherness that you always desire and dream for with your friends. I pray that God leads those type of people to you, so that you'll be able to really enjoy that thing that you've always desired. Thank you so much. It's been 3 amazing stories with so many lessons. My prayer and hope, as always, is that we don't just listen to these stories for entertainment purposes alone, and we don't just listen to these lessons, but we also find ways to apply them to our lives. You know, just every time you hear a story, you can point out the lesson and be like, okay, am I lacking in this way? Am I lacking in any way? Do I need to apply this to my life or not? Am I okay? Just ask yourself these questions, give the answers, and then move on from there. And I will see you next episode. Keep those stories coming in, as always. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end.